Yeah, it's been a good week, just about the same as every other week where you're hanging on the edge of the cliff, trying to figure out what's new and what's going to change.
I've been getting on Twitter and just, I don't know, getting myself in trouble, I guess. I don't care that much.
Well, you like to find trouble, though, don't you?
Well, it's not like I'm trying to be troublesome or anything. It's just, I don't say anything mean. I just, or normally call people on their junk. It's like, dude, that's not true, and you know it. That's about as far as it goes. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to belittle nobody or nothing like that. It's just, that's not true.
Yeah. That's the for some reason that's the trend nowadays is to speak because people will listen, but not to speak because it's actually the truth. So.
Well, in that, and they know the more outrageous the answer or the statement, the more popularity they get. I mean, everybody loves, waves. I mean, that's the way it is. They just want to create waves. What's the expression?
Yeah, good.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease.
The good thing is there's a big ocean out there. So, we all can create waves, but the ocean still exists. So,
yep.
If you get what I mean, that's me metaphorical talking.
Yeah, I got you. Sometimes, though, I do feel like we're stuck in, like, a bad episode of The Twilight Zone.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just, like, I was telling Keegan about last night, it's kind of like an out-of-body experience. Where you're sitting there screaming it, like, is everybody, like, with me here? Or is it just me?
Yeah, it's almost like looking at the black hole. Where if you approach the black hole, it's like Rick and Morty. You don't want to approach the black hole too far because you know that matter is actually compressed so much where no light can actually exist there. But so you're just looking at the black hole is all you're doing.
It's terrifying, bro.
But nobody wants to go into the black hole, but that's what we're looking at.
Fuck,
so
I've seen Interstellar. I know how that shit ends.
Uh-huh.
Motherfucker ends up on a planet with giant tidal waves and shit.
Yeah, man. We all can get spaghettificationed, if you know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man, that doesn't sound fun at all.
No.
No. What were they saying? Something about, like, somebody tried to explain how the little teleporter worked on the Enterprise, and I'm thinking, nah, I just fly, man.
Yeah.
There's something about just being broke down to a cellular level and, like, emailed somewhere. Nah, man, I'm good. I mean, I did look up that universal vaccine shit you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what did I say? I said that the idea is amazing. Truly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a great idea if you can combine all the, flu vaccines into one and make sure everybody's getting the vaccine that is going to work that year. It's not a big company, definitely. I think they said it had 25 employees. My only concern about it is that their revenue was consistently going down, but the debt they were incurring was consistently going up year after year. And that's never, I'm not going to say never, but it's normally not a good trend for wanting something successful. But I did look at who's propping them up, and it's a lot of big business. Like I said, pull it off. It's a game changer. Stock will go from, what was it, like $5 or something like that, $6.
Mm-hmm.
It probably would go to about $500-$600 a share. I bet it would.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of, can they pull this off? It's a synthetic peptide-based protein. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know exactly what the hell that means, but I made a note of it. Figured you'd know what something like that was.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, for people that don't know, since we're in the COVID-19 pandemic, this vaccine word has become a buzzword that I think everybody is probably interested in. So we're talking about this technology. Me and my buddy, we was talking about these different technologies that they're trying to target besides COVID-19, which is the universal vaccine. And right now, there's about 40 companies that are trying to. There's another race that's going on besides COVID-19 that cost, close to $17 billion a year, $11 billion in hospital cost, and an additional $7 billion of logistical costs, right? Pushing the vaccines out.
Yeah.
So, we all know what stocks are about is you have to catch it early, right? So this stock here, well, it's just one of many stocks, but the stocks that we're talking about is DVAX Technologies, but there's a lot of competitors out there like Amgen and so forth. But, these stocks are going to be a big deal in the next, per se, 5 to 10 years because of the grants that the federal government is pushing to try to get this universal vaccine off the ground, especially with COVID-19. So I really, my history is in public health and epidemiology. That's what my graduate degree is in. But I've been really interested in trying to, buy some shares and really understand what this market is all about. So, but it has some upside. It does have a lot of debt.
It does. But like
you said,
the upside is amazing.
Yeah, the debt really doesn't matter to me, per se, right now. What matters is it's really, I'm not the owner of the company.
Right. I mean, I thought
I'm more so
buy 100 shares and just
yeah. Yeah.
I'll throw $500 at it, and if it turns into, I think Dad was telling me the other night that if he would have bought Berkshire Hathaway for like $12 a share or something in 1964, if you would have bought 100 shares, it would be worth like $500 million or something stupid right now.
Oh yeah.
And that's exactly what I understand what you mean, that you never know where it's going to go.
Absolutely.
In 100 shares, you think it's dumb now, but then they hit the jackpot and actually do figure out how to make this thing work, goes to some outrageous number, and so there's, hey, I'm kicking myself in the butt because of Bitcoin. I mean, I was buying them at like $2,400, $2,500, and piddling with it, and then kind of got rid of everything, and it went up to $40,000 a coin.
And that, my friend, is I was riding down Bobby Jones, and I saw someone standing near the edge of the interstate, getting ready to jump off. I wonder if that was you.
Definitely not me, my friend. Definitely not me. But it does. It, like you said, though, you never know. Investing is a risk. It's a risk. That's all I can say on that. Take your chances, like the rest of us. So
yeah.
The only thing that got me with the one I looked at, I think it was BVXV or whatnot. Mm-hmm. It's just one of the companies you're talking about. The first and second trials did good. Third one, not so much. So I guess third trials would be actual human testing. I mean,
yeah.
Is that what third? Yeah. Is that what stage 3 would be? So, and I had read there something about they're wanting to figure out how to attack the stalk of the virus instead of the head, because the head is normally what changes and mutates the most common, whereas the stalk normally stays the same. So, I mean, I kind of understood what they were trying to do was to attack the heart, the root of the problem, not keep trying to hit curveballs. Just wait on that fastball and take it out.
Yeah. Every year a new viral strain or whatever they call it, a drift, comes out every year, and it just costs so much money. So they're looking at better opportunities, as you say, to where now they're targeting the stalk instead of the head. And they have some good reports on it. And they had a successful trial with, I think the trial population was 59 was the sample that they were looking at. in the age group from 18 all the way up to 39. That's what I believe. But I'm telling you, in the next 5 to 10 years, obviously I got a couple of stocks in this universal vaccine. I'm just hoping that I hit one of them. This is going to be a big deal because before COVID-19, the big deal was, H1N1.
Right.
So it's the silent viral strain that I think, if you're into that stuff, you can make a lot of money, because we know that a lot of people made a lot of money off of COVID-19. If you are really watching the stock market and the big market movers and what was happening with the insider traders. And trust me, there was a lot of money lost, but there was also a lot of money gained.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I didn't suffer last year. I didn't make like millions or nothing, but I mean, everything went up over the course of the year, which is good. I mean,
yeah,
that's all I care about. I'm not in it to get rich. Not that quick.
Mm-hmm.
Not this GameStop craziness quick.
Well, it's safe to say that a lot of people definitely lost money on that stock, and we did have some money that some people that gained. But I think a lot of people, we have these trendy stocks that come in, and people jump on a bandwagon because they see it on TikTok and they see it on Instagram, and they have the Robinhood app, but they really have no idea what the hell they're doing. So
I understand. I mean,
and they're just following the trend. So a lot of people lost a good amount of money with that. So
right. I was talking to my buddy about that, and I just told him, like, man, I'm kind of 50-50. I understand both sides, and I'm glad the little man finally got one over on the hedge fund guys or whatever, but at the same time, how many of the little guys got caught up in that and lost their whole portfolio?
Mm-hmm.
Trying to hop on that bandwagon, be like, dude, if I sell out now, I can buy all this and we can do it. But he's like me and doesn't understand all that puts and stays and all that other, junk that goes into it. And if you don't set that stuff up right, you're not going to make money. I mean, you can make a lot of money really quickly if you know what you're doing. I'm just not one of them. I'm sorry. I'll put my money in and let it grow, I guess.
There you go. Yeah. I'm the same way. I keep it really basic when it comes to stocks. That way you don't mess up too much. And I really don't get into trends. I'm the guy that's looking at 10 to 20 years down the road, right, to figure out which new technologies, which markets we'll be in. Obviously we have a new president. What is his main agenda? And then I start looking at those companies, and you actually can if you know what you're doing and you keep it basic, I mean, you can win.
Oh,
and
yeah.
That's kind of my thought process with the stock market is there's more stocks than GameStop that you can make money on. Trust me.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I had that. I told you I had that reverse buyback on one of mine, and it was it was like a pipeline company or something, and the dividend is outrageous. It's $16 a quarter or something like that, and I'll take it. But whereas GE or something, it's I get a little bit back, but not it's like $1 or $2. But it's a consistent stock. Other one that I don't think is going anywhere that I like, and it normally stays right around $30-$40, is Aflac. Mm-hmm. Everybody's gonna need Aflac. Like, it's not going anywhere. It's not. It's gonna be consistent. Doesn't pay great, but it's gonna be a consistent stock that's gonna keep making you money. I look at stuff like that. I want a stock that's gonna. I bought one or two that were risky, but they were also really cheap, so don't really care. But the bigger ones, bought a couple pot stocks, Canopy Growth. I got it pretty good. But the one I'm kind of kicking myself on was this Plug Power. It's one of these alternate fuel companies. And as you were saying, with new president, new direction, new everything, alternate fuel sources very well might be the way to go as opposed to the pipeline company. So there's a company called Plug Power. And
Mm.
supposedly they just got an Amazon contract to do all their vehicles and convert them over. I think to hydrogen, I think is what they do. It went from like a $12 stock, now it's sitting at like $64.
Mm.
And me and Dad were talking about it like 2 or 3 months ago that we should have jumped on it. And, it's one of those that I wish we would have jumped on it.
Oh yeah.
But
Yes.
that leads me into this next one of there's a company in Europe that installs a bunch of these power outlets and charger plugs and everything like that, like we have at parking lots, charge their Teslas.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think getting into those kind of companies would be a good idea here coming in the future? Because I don't think gas vehicles are going to be around for the next 100 years. That's just me.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, one of the first things that President Biden did when he got into office was he canceled that big
That pipeline.
pipeline project that was going up into Canada.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if that's along the same lines of what you're talking about, but
Right.
yeah, I mean, my big thing about green energy, because a couple of my buddies, we talk about this, this climate control, green energy, is it real? Is it not?
Yeah.
I think, green energy is going to be around for a long time because we have to find a way to be innovative and get better. And I think every market has its place,
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the technology with the hydrogen fuel vehicles and obviously all of the technology that goes along with that is most likely going to grow in the next 10 to 20 years. I mean, we've been solar farming for over a decade now, and most people don't even know that, so look at some stocks with solar farming as well. Quick little story. I drove out to Pennsylvania. One of my buddies, he's a fellow athletic trainer. He works in sports med.
Yeah.
And he moved up to Pennsylvania. Well, he's actually from Pennsylvania, but he works in small town New York. And I tell you, riding on that countryside of New York, Pennsylvania is different than riding on the countryside down here in the South. Like you actually see big A windmills.
Oh, yeah.
You if you ever seen an actual solar, wind powered windmill in real life, they're like big giants.
Oh, yes. They're massive.
Yeah. And you're like in awe looking at these huge windmills just generating power. So, but it's not going anywhere. I think it would be smart to look at least for the next 4 to 8 years, look at those companies that are investing in that market.
Yeah. Because I don't think the wind energy is the way to go either. I don't think people realize the amount of oil that's inside of those windmills. So you still got to have oil. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's wind powered and it's, wind's making it work, but you can't have that many metallic moving parts without oil. So, you know what I mean? It is still a turbine that requires oil. I didn't say like to run, but to make it work, it's got to have oil. I mean, everything's got to have oil.
Absolutely.
That's the issue that I think we're coming across is that it doesn't so much. It's not so much the gasoline; it's the fact that we still got to have grease and all other kind of lubricants that are derived from this stuff. So, I mean, I've seen those things let loose on YouTube, and I mean, you just see just hundreds of gallons of crap just pouring out of that head. Oh, they're horrible.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's kind of the argument of every market has its place. I don't think we should totally eradicate these markets. You have people that say, "Oh, we should be all green." It's like, what are you talking about?
No.
That's.
Yeah. I mean, you can't be all one thing. I mean, that's the problem. When you get that, I feel like that's how we got here where we are now. Is we all got too specialized. You used to just have guys that what they call them, jacks of all trades. They could just do it all. Like most people could just do a bunch of stuff. Now I feel like it's, oh, I'm a computer programmer. So what else do you do? I walk my dog. Okay, but I mean, like, what else? What else can you do? And that's about as far as the you see what I'm like? It just, I feel like we all became too specialized and became proud of it. And I get it if you're like a neurosurgeon, you know, or something like that. Like, yeah, by all means, my friend, kudos to you. But most people should still know how to change a light bulb, or, you know, put gas in a car. Something simple.
Yeah, you should every now and then you should just camp out at a gas station, and you'll be surprised of how many people don't know which side their gas tank is on.
Exactly.
So they kind of do donuts around the gas station trying to figure out how they can park next to the gas pump to fill their gas tank. I've actually seen this, and I've just sat there for 20, 30 minutes and saying to myself, I can't believe this person can't figure out how to park to put gas in their car.
The best ones when they're at Costco or Sam's, where once you're in line, and you're just there. And then they get there and they realize that they don't know what side their gas tank's on. And the little arm won't go all the way around their big-ass Tahoe. So then they can't even get gas. They have to, like, circle back around and go on the... Oh, man. Some of them I just like to think it's a rental car. Or it's not their car. You know, it's somebody else's car. But, nah, most of the time it's their car. I did have one time in Atlanta, though, an old man... asked us at the gas station if we knew how to get the gas cap open, and we didn't have a clue. Me and my buddy crawled around inside of this car for a good 15, 20 minutes trying to look it up on the internet, how to do it. It was in the center console. You open up the center console, and on the inside, on like the little inside, it had the gas flap button and the trunk release. What? Why would you put it in there, man? Like, we looked at the man and we were like, it's a first for us. He was just glad to be able to put gas in it because it was like a rental car or something, and I felt bad for him.
Yeah, that's like a similar story with my wife. This is back when, for some reason, I convinced myself that I need to buy a luxury car. That didn't last for long because I would rather put that money into stocks. But
I understand.
anyways, I bought a luxury car, and she, you know, of course, your wife is going to drive the car too, you know. But she went to the gas station, and I think I was outside grilling or cutting the grass, doing man stuff. And she calls me like 10 times, and I missed her phone call. So you can imagine how upset she was.
Oh, yeah.
But you want to know why she was calling me? She couldn't figure out how to open the gas tank. So she's sitting there for 10 to 15 minutes because she's like, I don't know how to put gas in this fancy car. It turns out, you know, she didn't know, but you have to have the key fob near it because it sends a signal to say that you are the actual owner that's attempting to put gas in the car.
Okay.
So,
see, I don't have any of that fandangled stuff.
No, I went back to the 2003 GMC Yukon XL. Where you actually twist it and you hear click.
Yeah, three clicks and you know you're right, my friend. 3 clicks. Click, click, click.
That, my friend, is a tank.
Oh, yeah.
You cannot mess that truck up. I love it.
Yeah, I'm about to invest in a new truck. I'm just trying to decide on what to go with. There's so many choices out there, but when you start looking at the price tag, there's not many choices out there.
No, that's easy $60,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Most
I've been looking at
$60,000.
fleet vehicles. That's what I've been looking at. That's not the end of the world. Now most of them have power windows and power locks. Like, that becomes standard on fleet stuff. And I found, you know, what was it? Up the street here at Thompson, They got it's been about a month or two ago. They had a shipment of 2020 or 2021 Dodge Ram tradesmans come in, four-door tradesmen. 24.9, brand new, fresh off truck, 0 miles on them. And I'm thinking for $25,000, buy a brand new truck. I'm in. You know, it's white and it's stock everything. I mean, it's a fleet vehicle, but what's wrong with that? I mean, I don't think people really a lot of times think about it. It's kind of like one of my buddies got himself a minority scholarship to Paden College. You gotta sometimes you gotta think outside the box. He didn't want to pay for undergrad stuff, and he needed his grades to get up, so he got a minority scholarship to play basketball and golf at Paden College, and got his undergrad, and then transferred out to another school.
I wish I was that smart.
That's what I mean. Think outside the box, dude. Like, I didn't even think about it. And now you think, like, you look at it and, yeah, Paden College used to have a bunch of white dudes on their baseball team.
Yeah. Yeah, way back when, me and my sister, twin sister, we actually had a track and field scholarship to Paden College. And for some reason, we didn't equate that to free money, which I'm kind of embarrassed to say.
Yeah, you didn't
equate. Yeah,
you didn't understand it as
I don't want to go to Paden College. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I need a track scholarship to the University of Miami. I'll go down there, you know.
Or yeah, be like Shakir and go. I need one to Rhode Island State. It's like, yes, and everybody who runs track.
Yeah. So I wish I cared a little bit more about that, but I still did pretty well in my academic scholarships.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, dude, you did fine. Did better than me. I got it through. I got one on my wall. That's all I can say. That's
Golden Eagle.
Yep. I'll take it all day, every day. And you went to Valdosta State, and then where'd you go after Valdosta State?
I attended, it's online is where I attended my graduate program, but it's this private university up in Chicago called Lowell, Illinois. It's like suburban Chicago. But, obviously I didn't want to travel up to Chicago. Who wants to shovel snow?
Yeah, no shit.
But I got my graduate degree. They're like in the top. This is back when I was looking at ratings and stats, and I was like, I need to go to the top university for public health. And this popped up as, in the top 5. But it's a university called Benedict University. That's where I attended and finished out with my public health with the specialization in epidemiology.
There you go.
So it was actually a really cool degree. Obviously, I paid for it. The keyword private.
Right.
But it was awesome. Like I actually had a chance, an opportunity to work with the team in Africa and game plan on some health issues that were going on, outside of domestically that was going on affecting what we call global health. It was actually eye-opening. I became a smarter man after that degree, but more in debt. So
but
that's the trade-off now. Is if you want to get smarter. I wish I would have met Elon Musk about 7 to 8 years ago, because his theory is that you can learn everything for free.
Right.
And
right.
I wish that were true.
A lot of it is, but you have to be smart enough to understand it. That's the issue. Because I sit here and look at myself, and I have a college degree. I graduated from high school, but I listen to some of these other people speak, and I'm like, whoa, man! Like, we're on 2 totally different levels here. You quit talking like that. You're making me feel dumb. You know what I mean? Like, but it is eye-opening to sit there and listen to these people, because they didn't get that way by sitting around and saying, oh, I learned everything in grade school, or I graduated high school, so therefore I know everything I'll need to know for the rest of my life. You know, most of these people have invested time in themselves, and that's the key word, invested in themselves. Like, you got to, if you want to know it, you got to put in the work. It's that simple.
Absolutely.
And I think that's where we fall short, is a lot of people skate by on the bare minimum as far as like what they need to know. It's like, oh, Twitter told me this, so it's got to be right. Well, how much of it is right? Doesn't matter. Well, it kind of does, don't you think? I mean,
Yeah, the quality of information is, for some reason, has depreciated over the years. You know, the thing about academics, and I work in education, so I believe in education, but, you know, the Elon Musk theory of, well, you can learn everything on your own, I completely agree with him. But the problem with that statement is, you know, most of business and the ability to grow in America, as far as if you're not an entrepreneur, depends on these pieces of paper. You know, so if you're an entrepreneur and you want to learn for free, then that makes perfect sense, because you invest in yourself and you invest in your brand. But if you are not a boss, and let's say that you don't want to be an entrepreneur, or you failed at being an entrepreneur, then it forces you to think on the left side of the brain. You know, there's two different types of workers in America, right? You have your
yeah,
employees and your employers. So
very
it just
true.
depends on which side of the pie chart that you want to be on. But I digress. You know, I came through a smart individual and less bias, and I really can look at any type of research now and break it apart, and I can speak the same language as you know, those individuals that you're talking about. I can actually pick up on what they're speaking about. So it was
So,
a good
I
handle for
guess
me, I think.
I guess it depends on what they're speaking about. Because
Mm-hmm.
some of them can get going, and I'm like, yep, you lost me. Especially on the, I guess, pharmaceutical, medical, like that level. Yeah, you got me.
Mm-hmm.
But me and Neil, me and Mr. Tyson, for some reason, I can follow him. It's like he's giving me high level, like, knowledge for dummies. Just the way he speaks, it's like I get it. I get it. I
Mm-hmm.
understand what he's saying. Like, it's mind boggling when you actually start understanding that sort of stuff. So I understand what you mean by you can look at this stuff and understand what they're trying to tell you. I don't know. I enjoy Discord. I know a lot of people don't use it, but it's essentially being on the phone without using minutes.
That sounds smart.
I mean, that's all it is. If you look in the bottom left, you can even share your screen, and if you just hit disconnect, it'll hang the phone call up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then you're just here. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a phone conversation. It's genius. It's genius. One of these
I wish we
stocks
would
that
have.
we should have jumped in on, right?
Man, you just literally stole the words out of my mouth.
Right. I mean, and it's a good platform. A lot of people use them. I got a bunch of Discord channels that I do follow because of it. And
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't really use Discord a lot, but how is it different from, I mean, I can see the obvious difference from YouTube, but like what makes Discord?
I,
Like, what's the purpose of the app? Like, I've heard of it because of gaming,
right. And I think
right?
that would be more so of for what it is. It can
Hmm.
do exactly like I said earlier. This channel we're in here, it's my podcast lobby. It's locked. Certain settings are set for the podcast. I have different settings as far as like noise dampening, things like that turned on for this lobby. It's pretty much invite only. I have to drag you in here. And that keeps people from trying to destroy what you're trying to do. And like you said, for gaming, having people hop in and just absolutely destroy your audio with just background noise or this and that, or just trying to be mean, I mean, you know how people are, dude. They're just gonna they just want to sabotage people to be on the YouTube video. It's really, and it kind of helps protect you from that, because now we can have just our friends in here, have our own private conversation, and this works in the background of your computer. Play your games, watch your videos, do whatever, and you can still communicate. A lot of times it puts your voice over whatever video is playing, so it'll kind of mute that a little bit and bring up the conversation so you don't get drowned out. And I mean, there's a lot more, but like I said, it's basically a phone call.
That's pretty cool.
And
yeah, it's almost like the old school AOL chat rooms.
Right. Yeah.
Where you could invite.
Very true. Because I mean, I got 2 or 3 buddies right now. They're playing World of Warcraft and whatnot, and they're in their own channel, if you will.
Yeah, I speaking of stock, I just had to look at my ticker to see what was going on with Discord.
Yeah. Yep.
And I wish I would have known about it like in 2015.
Yep.
When the shares were $1.94.
Yeah.
And currently it's at $280 per share.
Right.
So that should tell you something about really the world that we're in right now. Because I think a lot of people are talking and having private conversations. So
right. Well, that, and they're tired of the interference and the flack from just the trolls. Just, people are so fanatical. They really are, man. Like, they love their YouTubers. They love and just, you name it. Like, who knows who has, like, somebody obsessing. Like, it's just crazy today. Stuff you'd never think. Like, people you wouldn't think had a following, and they have, like, this massive cult following.
There you go. That's actually the phenomenon of it all is, you could meet a person. I could just be walking, let's say, in downtown Atlanta or go to a nice dinner. And someone could be sitting right next to me like me and you and have 20 million followers.
Right.
And they're like, dude, you don't know who I am? No. I don't know who you are. I'm not following you, but in their world, they're the biggest thing since spam. Right. So, it's just interesting the way that things work nowadays. Is you kind of have this social bank where, because you have 1 million followers, in your brain, you think you're it.
Right.
But the other 99% of people that don't follow you wouldn't even know who you are.
That's where I think this whole they want to get too involved. You know what I mean? Other people have nothing going on in their life. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Other people have nothing going on in their lives that they just want to ruin somebody else's life who's just trying to live.
I think people don't understand context, right? So, if we go back to grammar school,
right,
and we look at context and the way that you use adjectives, just the way that you use words, and when you're building a sentence can have a different meaning, right? So, like, what if I were to say, because of social media, are we all becoming, socially retarded? Is that really in science, we actually have a physical process called retardation, right?
Right.
So it's almost like, okay, do these people understand the context that the words are actually being used in? But I get it. That's why, the invent of social media has made it easy for people to place the blame game, and
yeah,
point
and instantly get gratification out of it too. That's the scary part.
Yeah, literally in a click of a button, you can be exposed. And depending on who exposed you, they can get more exposers. And, before you know it, like you say, your world is turned upside down because of someone else's different perspective of what's going on. That I think that's the risk of having any type of actually having a following,
Yeah.
right? Is the risk of that is who is watching you and who can you offend, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, all of these social media companies are, it's not
Everybody.
like they're privately owned, right? I mean, they're public. So, you're putting yourself in that position to where you always can be pushed to the other side,
Right.
unfortunately. So, just think about how many times that's happened now in the last decade where somebody has said something, but it wasn't in perfect context, and someone was able to use that and get a following. Like
Yeah.
it's insane when you think about it.
It
So
is. It is, and that's why I'm one of probably one of the oddballs on this that I don't really want a following. To be honest with you, I'm doing this for more as like I guess a video or a audio journal for just conversations with me and my friends and other people who want to, just have a conversation. I don't want fame. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for anything like that. Just a way to get my thoughts out once a week with some friends of mine that have a like ideas, or just are intelligent. I mean, that's a hard thing to find this day and age. Is just a good conversation.
my friend, you are right about that.
I mean, it's tough. Me and my wife are talking about having to do the dating game again. Like, are you kidding me? I think I would just be alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see these people on the internet and I'm thinking, man, we don't have much in common anymore. Let's go camping, let's go hunting, let's go do this stuff. And I watch a lot of guys on YouTube that'll show you these cook, catch, and clean, and how to go camping and stuff like that. And the problem is they get demonetized because everybody's like, oh, they're killing animals. Yeah, man. Not saying you got to do it, but there are people out there who do that sort of stuff, and it's cool. It's alright. Like, just let them do it. Let them be cool. But but they can't. You know what I mean? They can't, so they complain, and now they got demonetized, and there's no point in making videos like that anymore because there's no money in it. There's some of these guys, it's a business. At this point, they've become so big that they do this as a job. Probably most of the people who do YouTube or something of that nature probably do it as a job. And I'm not saying one day this couldn't become a job for me. I mean, I'm sure Joe Rogan, when he's standing on the scene of what was that show he did? Oh my word, Fear Factor. Fear is not a factor for you. Remember for Joe on Fear Factor? Like, do you think he was sitting there doing that show and was thinking, I'm gonna be the world's biggest podcast in 15 years? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be a big time podcaster. Maybe he was, but I think when he started, he just had a heck of a life that he wanted to tell people about, and a lot of friends that were willing to share with him, and it made him successful because you're only as good as your friends around you, man. That's the saying. People,
Yeah.
you're only as good as the company you keep.
Yeah, I definitely think, there's a little bit of serendipity there where, depending on what you're doing, there's other journeys that will basically lead from that. Right. But Joe Rogan, I think in part was so successful because he was controversial, and let's be honest, anytime someone is controversial and goes against what the majority opinion or perspective is, 90% of the time, there's other people that think that same way. And I mean, Joe Rogan was one of the first podcast hosts or even, video hosts that really challenged kind of the normal thinking that most people around the world you know, was thinking. And I think that's what made him so successful. But, YouTube, can you make money off of YouTube? It's funny. I got two daughters, a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old, and asked my daughter, "Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up?" Obviously, this is this is an illogical argument because no one knows what they're going to be until they become it, unless you're Michael Jordan, which he wanted to be a baseball player.
And even then he did it.
But
he didn't do it well, but he did it.
Yeah, so, but she wants to be a YouTuber.
Right.
And I had this moment where I was like, a YouTuber? What? And, out of all the different things that you could do, you want to be a YouTuber.
I mean, if you really, really want to be smart, or really at least feel like you're smart, you gotta learn something new every day. I mean, that's kind of the goal. I try to learn something new every day.
Yeah, I mean, me and you are alike when it comes to that. Like, I've really, within the last 2 years, I almost became obsessed with learning something that I did not know. Like, it started off with, and I've always been this way. Like, I've always been a reader, but I really get into biographies, and especially like biographies about scientists. We can think of one of the most famous scientists like Albert Einstein, but it's really interesting to see kind of, their life and what are some of the challenges that they went through. What were some of the, points where they had success, and it kind of linked off from biographies and really figuring out, okay, if I were to have a conversation with someone that I did not know, would I be able to conversate with them? Right. So that's when I started really reaching out there with some of the different subjects and context that I was reading. And I actually read more than I watch TV now, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you there. I don't really watch. Only thing I watch on TV is Ghost Adventures, and that's just because me and my wife just. Zach Baggins is just he's so good, and I don't mean that in like a I'm gonna win an Academy Award good. I just mean him with his over emotion, just exaggerated stuff. It's good. It's just great. Sometimes you just need to laugh. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's like one episode where everybody's looking at him, and all of a sudden he just starts choking himself. And he's like, dude, it's the spirits. And everybody's like, stop doing it, man. He's like, I can't. And he like starts crying. And it's like, rationally, is there a spirit choking him? Could be. I don't know. Like, that would be crazy if it was. But if not, you have 3 grown men standing in the dark with one of them choking themselves while the other 2 are filming it, trying to get him to stop choking himself. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, this is the greatest thing. Like, open the freezer door. It's like, do you feel this cold spot? Like, that's a lot of cold energy in here. Like, it's really going up my left arm right now. Get the camera. Everybody should have something they want to watch to enjoy. But 90% of that crap on TV is just garbage. I mean, really, it is.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of listening to a song the other day, and they said, when did reality become TV? Right. And this song, I think, came out in like 2003 or something like that. But I never thought of that when did reality become TV? Because, I mean, all the shows are like The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, it's reality for some reason. People love watching other people's realities on TV.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing ever to literally be so into someone's life to where you can't actually live your own.
Right.
It's, I don't know, man. We just live in a different time now. I don't think it's
not bad.
The Omen.
Right,
it's not the
right.
Omen that you want to look at, someone else's reality. Hey, maybe they give you some perspective. I don't know,
Yeah, definitely.
But, I mean, to be to the point where it's almost like a social media addiction. Like literally there could be things going on in your life that you can't fix, or maybe obstacles or maybe challenges or whatever, but you're spending 90% of your time looking at someone else's reality. It's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
But that's the world that we live in now. So, and I think that's the issues that we have is no one's living their own life. If we rewind this podcast back about 10 minutes ago when you were talking about, these people don't have anything better to do,
Right.
you know, they don't. I mean, that is their life. It's someone else's reality and them trying to ruin it instead of having productivity with conversation.
And agree to disagree. Like, that's the thing that kills me now, is that no longer exists. I mean, you can't agree to disagree. Like, I'm sure there's stuff that me and you don't agree on, and there's stuff we agree on. That's everybody, man. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean we can't just be friends.
Yeah, I don't know how that came about. That's a weird phenomenon as well. By the way, I call everything phenomenon now.
Hey, there ain't nothing wrong. That was a good movie.
If you or phenomena would be the better word, phenomena. I don't know. That's weird. You can't. And when I say argument, people for some reason automatically think, "Oh my gosh, he's having an argument." No, an argument is just taking a stance with whatever type of perspective that you have. You stand behind that and you argue
right
based upon that, right?
Right.
But for some reason, people don't understand that anymore. It's either someone's right or someone's wrong, which of course we know that exists. Yeah. But we almost know that everyone is not right and everybody is not wrong. So there has to be some in between.
How's everything going up your way though, man? Everything, kids getting back to school? They still in school or?
We actually, teachers have been in they've been back like in the work environment since last October. So we're kind of one of the only schools that went back to school early. So reading the newspaper, there's a lot of people that's not really happy about that. But most of your other area schools, they are still virtual. The kids only come to school when they need to do testing. But again, I think with my experience, I have 2 daughters, but with my experience in public health and epidemiology, and one of my favorite contexts is actually science. I can actually read for myself all the published studies and really figure out, okay, what's safe and what's not safe. So we decided to send our kids back to school for a second semester because what we know is that this is going to be going on for at least as long as we're alive.
Right, as far as I know.
You can't just stay in your four walls and hope that it's going to go away. So I think people will feel more comfortable if they actually read the research about COVID-19 and what's going on. They would kind of know a little bit more about how to combat it. But yeah, we're doing good, man. We're pretty much back to normal life, and just trying to figure out what's the next wave that we can ride to try to make it. We're just looking at 10-year mark, just trying to figure out how can we make it. So,
well, I was just curious.
But yeah, everything's all good.
Well, I was gonna say down our way, it's we're much smaller than y'all's area up there. It just we've been back to normal life. I mean, kids went back to school. They've been back to school almost the entire the first second semester. They went back. Like you said, the county's getting hammered for it, but we're having school. The kids are fine as far as at least what the news is telling everybody. There's not anything crazy. Our numbers are down. Everything's good as far as I know, but I think it's important. You got to get them back in school, man. I hear stories and I read stuff where people are like, "Oh, my kid was a straight A student for the past 10 years, and now all of a sudden they're failing in math." And how?
Oh yeah.
And it's. I don't think it's doing anything to help that generation succeed. Like you said, you can't hide in your 4 walls and expect you to the world to just go away, all it's going to do is pass you by. And that doesn't help either. No one's getting out of here alive, man. That's the truth. And worrying about a virus that, like you said, is probably going to be here forever. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, again, if we kind of go back to that topic, close to, I think last year when I was reading some stats, there's a certain group of stats that I just read every single year to figure out what's going on around you. I think, close to seven, and this is a rough number, close to 700,000 people, died in the United States from the flu. And I think right now the count for COVID-19 is
just under 500,000.
Just shy of 500,000.
Right.
So,
Which is how many people die every year to lung cancer due to smoking.
Oh my gosh, yeah, heart disease is the number one killer in the United States. I mean, over millions. So, and I kind of had this conversation with my wife because she was afraid, of course, and I had to respect that.
Oh, of course.
But this is where you use a little bit of common sense, a little bit of go read, and make sure you read from peer-reviewed articles and good publications. Credit, pubs that have credit. And then the third is you literally look at what's going on around you, and that's what I did. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. When I put all three of those together, I really couldn't figure out a reason why I should keep them home. Right. And that's when we kind of made the decision, like, okay, let's get you back, because 5 years from now, this COVID-19 is still going to be going on. Like, at some point, you're going to have to walk outside. I mean, that's just the way that it has to be. But again, you're talking about that's territory that can be touchy because, some people have lost lives, the family lives and stuff, but
it is what it is, man. But I'm glad to see, y'all are getting back to a little bit more of a normalcy up at, y'all's neck of the woods. And
I enjoyed it. Who you got? Before we get off, who you got today? You got Tampa Bay, or do you have Kansas City?
I'm going to go with the Bucks, just because, I think Brady has I'm not a huge Brady fan by any means, but I think he has proven himself to be. He's definitely one of the best football players to ever play the game, if not the best, and you can't really refute that anymore, because he's not just with Belichick. He's proved that he can take a completely different team in a completely different conference and take them to a Super Bowl in 1 year. It doesn't just happen. That happened, you know what I mean? That happened for reasons. And he's at the center of it. I mean, he's quarterback. Not to mention, it's easier to just say go Bucks.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, Tom Brady, and this is a whole different other conversation, but I mean, that I think that was the looming question with Tom Brady was, could he do it without Belichick? And he did. So
he did. That
question mark is not over his head anymore, but that shows you how powerful, a great quarterback can influence a team, because, Brad Johnson sure wasn't doing that. And let's be honest, Bruce Arians, he wears the coolest hats. So
yeah,
I'm going to go for I'm going to go for the Bucks as well, but it'd be interesting to see how it plays out. So
yeah. It's all I can do is ask for hope for a good game. Being an SEC fan, my word, they were just all blowouts this year.
Yeah, well,
Alabama.
I think next year. Oh yeah, and the Nick Saban train.
Right? Yay! My favorite. If I meet another person that tells me they're a Clemson fan or an Alabama fan, it's gonna be like, really? Since when? Since when? 2015? Okay.
Since when they were winning?
Right. You won't find too many Alabama fans from the early 90s, okay?
Probably not.
So. But yeah, man. Same time next week. Yeah, buddy, I appreciate it, man. You have a good Sunday, man. Be safe out there.
All right, you too, Pedro. Peace.
Later, buddy.